And I'm actually going to get right into it. And you really want to know how. How can I blaze my own path? How can I be successful? How can I follow the path that someone else has laid for me to be successful?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Campus Cuts, episode 222. Back with the Mr. Deuce episode. Yes,
You
sir.
already know how it's coming.
So you already know that we are here, IG Live for the next couple minutes. I'm giving you guys a preview of what's to come. So I got my guy, Patrick, also known as Fine, the entrepreneur. Let's go, man. Welcome to the show.
Appreciate you, bro. Glad to be here.
And you know what, bro? I just want to say thank you for making the time. So, of course, basically what the podcast is about, you heard about it. It's a multi-generational, multicultural podcast that is here to empower and have people chop it up in the barbershop, talk about things that they want to talk about, right? Mm-hmm. So, of course, you and I, we've been working pretty hard, trying to stack our money, trying to grow, and we want to make sure that we're going to continue to educate the people. So before we just give the people an introduction, your name, your year, your major, and your hometown, why you chose Baylor, and after that, you're about to dive
in. For sure. My name is Patrick Eriom. I'm a senior now, thank God. One more semester to go. I'm an integrated studies major. Why I chose Baylor? Honestly, I chose Baylor because it was a small college that I could grow my faith and I wouldn't get easily distracted. And plus the school is second to none. Go Sikkim Bears. Yeah, that's anything else I'm missing?
Yeah, man. No, that's pretty much it, bro. That's pretty much it. So, man, that's good. That's good, man. And so, you said it's your last semester. Semester. You're trying to grow. So how do you feel about being a senior, especially during the time in the pandemic when the economy is shot and all that?
Honestly, it really has to do with my ability to change and my ability to adapt very well to situations. So once they hit us with the email that schools closed, that we have to stay where we are, it was really just, all right, so how can I adapt better? How can I grasp the information that they're teaching online in a proper fashion and treat it as seriously as if I was physically in school or in a classroom setting? And I feel like I adapted pretty well, did pretty good. Sadly got 1B, but we moved.
Okay. What about the pass fail? What happened with the pass fail?
Pass fail, bro. You already know how we're coming, bro. You already know 3-9 way, the 3-9 way.
Hey, it's okay. It's okay, but you know what? We're gonna keep that integrity, keep it in check, man. Amen. So of course, we noticed that your IG and that you've been growing your platform as an e-commerce. You're on the rise of the e-commerce business, and as well as just as an entrepreneur. What made you want to take that next step from being on the pre-med route? I'm not sure if you still are, to now understanding that, hey, I could have more success doing business and being an entrepreneur. What was that change? That was that mindset change for you to be able to elevate to the next level, and why you're going on this journey right now?
Okay. Well, it started out like towards the end of last semester in my biochem class. I was really getting to a point where it wasn't that, like, I understood the information, but I felt like it just wasn't me. So I picked up a business minor and I started taking some business classes. And at that point, when I was like in the business school, talking to the people that are business majors, seeing what their mindset is, it was really a big differentiator between the science building and the business building. Because in the science building, it's really pessimistic, it's really gloomy. But once you transition to the business school, everybody wants the best for you. Everybody wants your success. We're all in this together. We're all gonna grind together. We're all gonna make it out together. And just seeing the love that they all have for each other, it was something that I wanted to be a part of. And so I started doing more research, and I started falling in love with business. My first business class was marketing, actually, and it was in that class that I discovered like my passion for like market consulting. Expanded my knowledge more, took accounting, learned more about tax, learned more about financial literacy, managerial accounting, financial accounting. Um, then I took a global business, and a professor, Wayne Hampton, he really like gave me the insight of, hey, there's so much more in this world when you understand like the business aspect of it. Business is applicable in so many different situations, and just that alone just opened my mind to a whole new world.
Yeah, that's really good. And our relationship with Wayne, bro,
Yes,
that's our
sir.
guy right there. That is our guy. Um,
Yes, sir.
so just like, it's so crazy just to think about it. Like, what the one thing I really love about the business school is
Hmm.
is in the fact that they're not just teaching us, okay, you're gonna get your degree, and after that you're gonna get a job. These are
Hmm.
like, look, you got people like Wayne or
Hmm.
my professor, my marketing professor, Dr. Eric Swan, who actually have been in the field, who have
Hmm.
made the millions, who have done the work.
Exactly.
They wanted to actually, come back and teach rather than somebody going to teach
Exactly.
you, okay, this is what it means to just sit a job. I'm not hating on anybody that works a job or anything,
Hmm.
because we need those people. But it's just like, if we
Exactly.
know that we got a mindset of being able to pursue the type of excellence and freedom, especially with the
Hmm.
lifestyle that we want to live, then after that, how can we apply that into the things that we're doing, right?
Exactly.
And why do you think
Exactly.
it's important for the Africans and also the African American community to understand financial literacy, understanding and knowing that, us first gen, our parents they just came straight, they didn't really know, but also
Hmm.
people that have been disenfranchised and that haven't really gotten that opportunity to be able to get that access to resources and that knowledge, and then that's why our counterparts seem to be years ahead.
Hmm. It's really important for especially our generation now, because the majority of us, we are like first generations, and when we come to like a completely different country where the culture shock is immense, we have to transition and understand like how to think and how to build ourselves. Because if we don't understand those factors, then we're still going to be still going to be left behind. If, for example, somebody asks you, hey, can you do your taxes? Majority of people say no, they don't know how to do the taxes, and that's a skill that we all need to be able to understand in life. If somebody asks you, hey, can you calculate the net profit? Most people don't know about the variable cost, the fixed cost. They don't know about those type of things. They don't know about the type of saving plans that need to be implemented to make sure that you have future successes. Most of the time, our generation has a mindset in the short term where it's like, okay, you buy this item, you buy this expensive item, you showed off, and congratulations, you don't have money in the future. It's like something the thing we saw on Instagram, where poor man's mindset is to buy an expensive car, but
Mhm.
a rich man's mindset is to invest in something. So over time, you're spending $70,000 on a car, is depreciating each year, while a rich man is spending $70,000, but he's investing it in his building value. So our generation has to come to the understanding of, you need liquid asset in this country to you need assets in this country to what to be able to work. Because if you let's say all your property is, you have a car, there's no house in your name, and it's like you have all this cash, yes, but you got to understand, cash is losing its value every day. It's completely depreciating. The
Mhm.
cash is inflating every single year, and you know just like that, the $100 that you had yesterday, it's only going to be worth $80 tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah. But then, like, I know, but for some people, I'll be like, Patch, oh my gosh, like, what you mean of $100 that I had yesterday? I still have $100 in cash. Like, it's still the same thing. What do you tell these people? Like, bro, you got to understand, like, inflation. How are you able to have these conversations with them?
So I tell them like this: $100 in the grocery store, let's say it can get you milk, let's say it can get you eggs, it can get you cereal, it can get you your washing detergent, and it can get you what's the last item? Let's say water. Let's say water. So the thing about cash is, cash has its set value. That's how cash works. It gives value to certain things, but you got to understand that by tomorrow there's going to be a shift. Inflation going to get to a point where, instead of paying for those things for the $100 that you planned for, you're going to be paying $120.
Mm,
So there's going to be that differentiator, because yesterday you thought it had this value, but today they're telling you it has another value. That's how inflation works. The price is going to be inflated, and you're going to be getting less for the money that you had.
yeah, man, that's crazy. Just to think about it, like, but and you know what? High schools, they don't teach that, man. So how are you
They
able
don't.
to get out of that mindset of, because you like nice things, you like your nice
Hmm.
like shoes, your nice like designer stuff because of quality. But what was that mindset
Hmm.
like? You know what? I'm a little bit tired of wearing the nice things, and I want to actually build something up. What type, like, when?
Hmm.
talk about like that transformation when you realize, you know what, I'm good. I need to stack and save, then ball
Hmm.
later rather than trying to ball
Hmm.
now.
Really, it was just to the point where I'm getting all this designer for what reason? Yeah, it's good to wear, it's good to show off, but at the end of the day, it doesn't bring me anything. Like I remember last year I had a conversation with Cause actually. And like he said something to me that at that point it really wasn't on my mental, like I really wasn't thinking about it. But now when I look back to it, he was actually like he had his life set out. He basically said, you're buying all these designer, all these expensive things, but what's their depreciation value? Every single time you use it, it gets less and less. You buy an LV belt for, let's say, $800. By the eighth time you wear it, it's already lost about 25% its value. Nobody's going to buy for the same price. They're going to buy for lower. So at the end of the day, you've lost money. It's not something they appreciate. So I have to transition to that mindset of, if I'm going to get something, it has to be something that's going to have an appreciative value. It's not going to be depreciating over time. So I started realizing I don't need to get all these expensive things to show off, because at the end of the day, I'm the one that knows like my success, and I know my worth at the end of the day. Like I don't need to go out and like try to impress anybody else, because it's my life solely at the end of the day, and that's how I'm going to be living.
That's really good, bro. That's really good, man. And I really like how, you know what, as a young man, and bro, people gotta realize you're 19 turning 20. So now that
Yeah.
you literally about to transition, like, to an adulthood, like 20 years old. And you know how, have you ever heard of the 10,000 hour rule?
No.
So basically the 10,000 hour rule is, if you want to get something, if you want to get really good at something, scientifically, it takes about 10,000 hours. 10,000 hours equals 10 years. So the fact that you're trying to beat this 10,000 hour rule, and then you're looking at a span of 10 years, you'll be 29, 30. And and just with your mindset and how you're evolving and how you're moving, you said on your Instagram story that it's like without a doubt that you might be, you're going to be a millionaire by 23, which is possible
Mm.
if you continue to do everything at this rate, right? So just imagine like how you're going to be at 30, but also that's before the drop shipping project really pops off. Like you haven't, like, you started, but you're not, it hasn't even started hitting yet. But
Hmm.
now
Hmm.
imagine, like we talked about Jimmy Hill and how, and we talked about Jimmy Hill, right? So now with that, like talk about like how he inspired you to even start the drop shipping, and explain to the people what drop shipping is.
How did I find out about Jimmy? Well, it was a completely random ago. I think like two it was like 2 weeks ago that I hit you about Jimmy.
Yeah.
So I was looking through my Instagram, getting kind of fed up, and I was at a place where I knew there was a lot more. There was a lot more I wanted to attain. There was a lot more I knew I could attain. So I found Jimmy's page, and I watched one of his videos, and I got myself out of the rat race. I
Mm.
didn't want to work a 9 to 5. I'm gonna put y'all on this concept called drop sourcing. I knew about it before, but the way that Jimmy was doing it and the way that he was proposing it, it was completely something I've never seen before. He was going at it in a manner that he was 10 times more pressed to be successful than the average person.
Mm.
Most people have the ideology that all you have to do is sell. You just have to sell one item, and that's what's gonna get you. That's what's gonna get you the money. But Jimmy's mentality is just get any item that's eye catching, and it's gonna work. So once he said that, I was like, all right. So, you know, if he can do it, why can't I? So I just hopped on. I just hopped on it and just said, all right, let's take this move, invest and reinvest.
So like, and how long did it take for you to start JoJo Supplies? Like, give it like a time frame, and give it like, because I know when most people see it, they're like, "Oh, I want to get it, I want to get in," like, and they start seeing your numbers,
Mm-hmm.
right? They'll be like, "Bro, how did Patch get an option trading? Or how did Patch do this and this that?" But like, explain like the type of work that it takes to be able to even start to get that, and like
Mm-hmm.
trying to find the product and the research and all these other
Mm-hmm.
things.
Uh, I can't lie. It takes a lengthy amount of time, because the thing about it is people see the success and they see the money coming in, but they don't understand the hours that you put in. From the times of 7:30 to about 11 o'clock, I'm constantly on my grind. I'm constantly figuring out, all right, how can I be a better version of myself? I'm reading, I'm watching YouTube videos, seeing how these people in similar situations they made it out and they made it into the successful people they are. And with JoJo Supplies, I had to create it, get the information, do my market research, see if this is a profitable item, see how I'm gonna find out what the cost of goods sold is, find out my estimated sales profit, find out what the fixed rates are, find out what the valuable costs are, and just doing all those things. It took a lot of time, a lot of math, a lot of conceptualization, and option trading. Lots of research is extremely risky. It took me losing a lot of money to figure out where my bread and butter was, figuring out how I can make this something profitable for me. And it was just a lot of learning lessons. Life is a lot of learning lessons, and it's constantly evolving and finding out how you can adapt to change better, how you can always improve yourself and be a better version of yourself than you were yesterday. And that's all I strive to do. Make sure that I'm a better version of myself than I was yesterday, learning from my mistakes of yesterday and not repeating the same thing twice, because that is insanity.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
So
And then so with that, man, what drives you? Like, what was that to the point? Like, you know what? What's the driving factor behind all of this, and for you to be able to be successful? And then my follow up
mhm.
question is, what does it mean to be successful?
Okay, so the driving factor, it's really a mix of just looking at where I came from, coming from Nigeria, growing up here, and then just asking myself, all right, if you're gonna go this business route, Patrick, how are you gonna make sure it's profitable? Because majority of people that come out of the business world, their mindset is set on, all right, I'll get a guaranteed job working 9 to 5, and I'll live a pretty average life. But to myself, like that, there's nothing bad with that, but it's just like I know the type of lifestyle I envision for myself, and I realize that if I want to attain that type of lifestyle, I can't be complacent. I got to make sure that I'm working 10 times harder than the average person. That if somebody's working 40 hours, I'm going to be working 80 to get to my goal.
Yeah.
And the definition of success is really just what have you brought to show. Success can come in various forms. It can be, are you happy in life? Is your family well off? Are you well off? Did you get the degree that you intended for? Did you are you living the life that you envisioned for yourself? That's truly my honest definition of success. Are you at a good place with God? Like how's your religion? How's your who are your friends? All those things, I feel like they combine to determine how successful you've gotten in life. And it's not going to be the same for everybody. Everybody's going to have their own perception of success. But for my success, that's really what it is. It's like the overarching theme of how have all those things come together to make sure I'm living the lifestyle that I envisioned for myself.
Yeah.
That's truly the definition of success.
Yeah, that's good. And then, both of us on an entrepreneurial journey. I want to ask you, bro. Like, I was listening to this podcast of like Earn Your Leisure that I told you like you should listen to, and
Hmm.
talking about like the mental wellness, mental wealth.
Hmm.
Because honestly, the key for me, like the key thing about wealth is isn't just money, but like the most important thing is how well you are, your well-being, your mental, your spiritual, your physical, your emotional. How are those things intact with just getting the money? Because the money, we're gonna say it straight up. I believe money is stored energy, and money is an energy, and it gives you freedom. Money is important because we need it to exchange, we need it to live in the world, but it's not everything. But
Hmm.
once people stop focusing, I feel like when we start finding our purpose and it aligns, the money will come because you know that
Hmm.
it's going to come, and then everything's going to happen, right? And then
Yeah.
so whether it's going to be a lot of money if you desire it, or it's going to be whatever. Both you and I, we want to be millionaires, and we're claiming it right now in episode
Amen.
222 that we're going to be millionaires. Simple,
Amen.
simple fact. Not
Simple as that.
because we're over here saying we're going to be millionaires, it's going to come, but no, because we're actually putting in the actionable work to do that. But with that,
Exactly.
though, there's this understanding of, okay, what type of risk that you're putting. You are putting a lot of risk with this option trading, with this business, understanding the profitable, understanding all this and balancing that, right? So for you, my question for you is, how are you maintaining your wellness and your well-being when you're on this journey? Because most people don't talk about, like, entrepreneurial suicide. That's one of the highest suicide rates for these people in this field. Or understanding, especially, like, mental health, especially as African men in America, on understanding that these discussions are not necessarily being had because of culturally where we come from. So I want to ask you, like, what are your thoughts about that? How you're taking care of yourself, especially during the time of a pandemic?
Hmm. I can't even lie. It's really just prayer, prayer, prayer. I got to a point where I realized that I needed God if I wanted to be successful, because the things I was doing, they weren't profitable. Some of the business weren't like some of my business ventures, they weren't going as I wanted to go, and I had to sit down and ask myself, what am I missing? And it was really just I didn't have the relationship with God that I needed to get to the point where I wanted to be in life. And once you find God, and once you can have that conversation, it's completely life changing. With God, all things are literally possible. And I tell God, I asked him, I said, if you give me the strength, if you give me the willpower to continue on this journey, I promise that I'll forever glorify your name for as long as I live. That my family will glorify your name. That will continue to pray to you and will continue to thank you for all the things that you've done. Um, and on the note of mental health, I really had to we as a community of African American men, we have to get to the point. We have to understand that just because you show emotions does not mean that people should be looking down on you. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be vulnerable. I taught my mom is like my biggest impact in my life. Growing up with a single mother, I really didn't understand like the concept of, all right, it's okay to talk about your emotions until I got older, and I'm like, it's coming to my latter years of college, and I'm really like, all right, life is getting kind of hard, and for so long, like, you can only hold it in for so long before you have to let it all out. So I started talking to my mom, and I was like, yeah, like, life is hard. And she was completely open about it. She's like, yeah, it's going to be hard, but if you need, like, remember, like, your family's here for you at the end of the day. Like, we're here to support you. We're here to give you advice in what ways we can, help you if you need anything. Don't feel like just because you open yourself to be vulnerable that you're lesser. That's a you're not lesser when you open yourself up. Everybody needs to be vulnerable. Everybody needs to say how they're feeling emotionally inside. You can't keep it locked in, because if you keep it locked in for so long, you're gonna implode.
Absolutely.
And that's where, like, the self-hate, that's where the depression comes about, because people feel, especially like within the African American male community, for so long we all try to be like, who has the biggest bravado, who can hold it in the longest, who's not afraid to break down, but sometimes we need to break down, because it's a self analysis. If you're not getting to the point where you're breaking down, it's like, are you even analyzing yourself? How are you gonna grow if you don't complete, like, if you're not always asking yourself, all right, how can I do better? What did I do wrong? If you don't own up to those things, if you're not accountable for those things, like, I don't I personally don't think that you can get to the point where you want to be in life. It might be different for somebody else, but like, that's my philosophy. You got to be open. You got to be open as a man.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so with that, man, understanding that, you came into college very young, 17 years,
Hmm.
17 years young,
Hmm.
man. Talk about how have you felt like you have transitioned and changed during your time, and you're about to graduate early. So like 3 years, when you're turning 20 in July, what do you feel like that just transition has given you with this opportunity to be and attend at a university? And I'm not sure people know, but you were actually on the news, and you did a whole news interview when you got into Baylor because that video went viral.
Uh,
I remember seeing that video
a
going viral.
long,
Everybody was
long
like,
time
"Whoa,
ago.
man, we going back." But see, like, from going to a viral
Hmm.
sensation to now also like experiencing this college and all that stuff, how have you feel like how have you've grown during this time?
Hmm. Most of the people I've been around, they've always been like a year, 2 years older than me. Most of my friends, they're a year, 2 years older than me. Uh, and I was always seen as like the younger one. But at that time, people like majority people would like they just assume like I'm a lot older. But my maturity wasn't there like when I initially first came in. Sophomore year came around, it still wasn't there. But junior year, I had my mom sat me down. She asked me, what do you want of your life? And I had to really ask myself, all right, time is, like I can't keep on saying I'm young, I'm young, I'm young. Like I got to get to the point where it's like I have to mature. I have to start getting my things together, getting my life together, figuring out my plan, being proactive with understanding what I want to have for my future. And I just had to grow and develop. I just had to become a more mature version of myself. I had to sit down and learn. I wasn't somebody that liked reading a lot. I was really a mathematical
Yeah,
type of analysis person. But I realized that when you open up a book, you can get so much knowledge. Like, and that's really just the big thing. Just finding out who I am and maturing into that type of person. And that's really the big part.
that's good. That's really, really good, man. And because you know what, it's just so important that understanding that maturity aspect and how we're able to truly able just to blow up and to continue to get better and
Hmm.
understanding that we need to continue just to move forward. So
Hmm.
now I got a couple big questions that I usually ask my guests, man. So for
So
my guest, the first big question is, what are three things that you would change that you would no three things that you would tell your younger self?
my younger self. Okay. The first thing, all that money that you used to spend on designer, save it and put it somewhere that it can build value. That's the first thing. Second thing, be confident in who you are and be sure in who you are. Don't second guess yourself. If you're gonna go with something, go with it and trust that it will work out in the end. The third thing, um, let's see. Honestly, remember that where you are right now isn't where you're gonna be forever. There's always gonna be room to improve. You don't have to be hard headed. And yeah, that's really the biggest thing. That's really the biggest thing.
That's good.
Being Yeah.
That's really, really good. That's really valuable right there, especially like for us young bucks, but now we're growing
Hmm.
and maturing, about to enter this real big world that is full of endless
Hmm.
possibilities. Like when I had Professor Wayne on his podcast, on my he said his episode, he said that he's 65 years old and he's just getting started. Just
They have to.
bro.
The man, the myth, the legend.
The man, the myth, the legend. 65 years
Yeah.
old and he's just getting started.
Mhm.
So that means like, so if we just getting started, what about us? What about these little?
Exactly. What are we doing? What are we doing?
You know
You
what?
know,
And but like, it's amazing. So now my next big question is, what are some things that you would like to see change in America?
to
Like,
see change.
yeah, like yeah, what are some things? And this is like up to your own interpretation. What are things that you would like to see change?
Okay. Um, Really, the level of financial literacy. I feel like in the latter stages of high school, that's really the only opportunity where most people get to understand like finances because that's where you take economics. And if you're not taking AP economics, most people they really don't understand like the way money works, the way it circulates around the world, the way it affects different things, because it all interconnects. Everything is interconnecting. The money market, the interest rates, supply and demand, all those things intertwine, and I feel like they don't properly give us those tools to understand it. So when we grow up, it's like they're forcing they're forcing majority of people to stay in the blue collared America, when if they were more financially literate, they could propel themselves to white collar America. And I feel like that's the thing that's really like holding most people back, like just understanding like how money works and the value of money. Um, another thing I probably want to change is the perception of you're young and you have all the time in the world.
Why is that?
Tomorrow,
Dig deep.
tomorrow's not guaranteed. Nobody knows what's gonna happen tomorrow. Grind it out today and make sure that no matter you're gonna be good the next day. Because if you're being lackadaisical today, something drastic, God forbid, but something drastic happens tomorrow. You're living this you're living this you're living this lifestyle of I can be complacent, and all of a sudden the next day comes about and it's like, all right, bet everything I had yesterday is gone. So what do I do? I read a book Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson, and it was a parable about like it was talking about like mice and little people, and it was talking about the complexity of man and how man we tend to have this at first we tend to have this like grand lifestyle. We attain it, the next day comes about something drastic happens and we're stuck in our past ways of I don't believe it. Instead of moving on and like all right, adapting, saying all right, bet. How can I make this? How can I make this back? How can I make it even? Not even how can I make it back? How can I make it better than it was yesterday? We tend to get into the mindset of all right, okay, let's investigate what happened. Let's figure out where it went. Instead of saying all right, I need to move with it. I need to move with my cheese, and people need to get to that mindset of all right, something drastic happened. All right, how can I adapt quickly? Instead of being complacent, I need to be proactive. I need to make sure that, like back to the savings thing, I need to make sure that I'm not spending all this money, but I'm investing this money and I'm saving the money for rainy day funds. Because tomorrow comes about and God forbid something happens and you're like, all right, bet I have this money in my savings account. I have this money invested. I pull it out and I'm better than I was even yesterday. You had $40,000 yesterday on you cash. Something happens, it all goes away. The $40 that you invested like 2 days before, it's already built interest. Now you have $50 to start off the day. So it's like we have to get to this proactive mindset.
Mm, that's so good. That's really, really good. Especially making sure they're changing the culture. Do you feel like kids nowadays, our generation, we're too entitled?
Yeah. Uh, a lot. We have the mindset that all right. So for example, the stimulus check. Not everybody gets their stimulus checks. The people that get their stimulus check is like, all right, bet I'm just gonna eat it up. But the people that didn't, like, for example, like I didn't get a stimulus check, but I had to figure out how to make my stimulus check. I had to figure out, all right, bet if I'm starting up with only $100, how can I turn that $100 into 1,000? After I get my $1,000, how can I multiply it to 2,000? And how can I exponentially growth at the end of the day? Instead of see my money lose value, how am I building value with it? So we have this mindset that okay, the government is going to support us, but the thing about it is, for how long? Because each and every day we're coming into debt. The unemployment rate is that there are 20.5 million people that declared for unemployment as of 2 days ago. And the thing about it is they're relying on the government to help them with benefits. The government just dropped trillions of dollars on stimulus checks and on businesses to help the economy keep on functioning. But the thing about it is that's all adding to our debt.
Absolutely.
Where's that money coming from? We're just printing money. Inflation rate is still going up. And we're in this short term mindset, and people are like, all right, bet the government's gonna save us, the government's gonna help us. But how can you help? Like, we gotta figure out how can we help ourselves.
Mm,
How we can't keep on relying on it forever. We have to become proactive and start being self sufficient in our own ways.
yeah.
And that's really the big thing that our generation needs to like understand, that we're not our parents aren't always going to be there to rely on us. Like they can't keep on feeding us with a silver spoons for the rest of our lives, and we need to figure out things on our own and become self sufficient. While we're still young, while we're still mobile, let's utilize this time to the greatest of our capabilities.
Mm, that's good. What people that inspire you, man?
People that inspire me. Let's see. My mom my mom's the first person. Seeing her as a single mom. Uh, brought two children from Nigeria, moved them to America, gave them gave she my mom gave us everything we ever wanted plus more. Everything we needed, she gave us. Everything we wanted, she made sure that we had it for us. And two children, both go to Baylor, one of the most expensive schools in Texas, one of the most prestigious schools. And just seeing her work for it every single day, making sure I'm gonna guarantee that my children have everything at the end of the day, no matter what. That's really what gives me the drive every single day to say, all right, she's done this. I need to go 10 times harder to make sure that no matter what, by the time that I turn, by the next 3 4 years, I'm gonna say, hey mom, you can retire from work. You don't have to work a day in your life. My sister wants to go to med school. All right, bet. I'll cover her med school fees. If my mom wants to sell this house, move to something else. All right, bet. You sell this house, keep money. I get you in your house. The car of your dream, I get it for you easily. You call me, you say, all right, I'm bored at home. All right, I say, all right, what country do you want to go to, mom? Like taking care of my mom and showing her that everything the invest that she put into us has an incredible return. Um, Another inspiration, I can't lie, Tanaka Tava, another big inspiration of mine. I remember the day that I hit you up. I said, bro, I need to get my life on track. I need to start moving. I start making moves. And then you said, all right, Patrick, let's get to work. And every single day you give me the inspiration. You give me the inspiration. You give me the motivation of, hey, bro, all right, what's good? How are you doing today, bro? How are you better than you were yesterday? Give me that daily motivation. Speaking, just giving amazing advice on how can you be a better version? How can you make sure that your family's proud at the end of the day? Speaking these words onto me, like sometimes even when I'm like, all right, bet, but I'm exhausted, I'm tired. I get a FaceTime call from you like, hey, bro, are you on your grind? Are you making sure that you're set up for tomorrow? And that's when I'm like, all right, bet, Patrick. No time to be lackadaisical. All right, it's time to start getting that work. It's time to start pushing. It's time to start pushing. Um, let's see. Those like y'all are really like the big inspirations in my life, and my grandfather really like seeing him come from the village, work his way from the small village of where I come from that nobody even knows. Cross River, Nigeria, small village. All the way he came all the way to Texas when oil was booming. Built himself a name. Traveled wherever he wanted to. At a point where technology wasn't even advanced, he found a way to get himself out of the mud from Nigeria,
Wow.
come to Texas when oil was booming in the like 60s. I remember he told me the story. He was like, when he got to the airport, and this was a time when like segregation was like it was slowly starting to like to stop. And the limo driver picked him up from the airport. He said, "Are you sure you're the right person? I've never seen a black man land in the airport and get picked up by a limo." And at that point, like when he told me these stories, I was like, I know where I'm coming from. I know where like the lineage of my family, and I know we're gonna do great things. And I have to step up to that plate, and I have to propel. I have to make sure that generational wealth. I'm like I'm the one that starts it.
Yeah.
That's what I really had to figure out. And y'all are really like the big inspirations in my life. The ones that they say, all right, Patrick, don't be stagnant. Keep on pushing. You got this. Don't stop. It's coming. Just be patient. Just keep on being on your hustle. It will come in due time.
Amen, bro. Amen, bro. Well, I guess you talked about it a little bit, but like my last question I asked all my guests is, what you want your legacy to be?
My legacy. I want my name out there in the stars, bro. I want to make sure that I'm a trailblazer in this country. My mom tells me in this land, you guys will leave a trail that nobody will ever forget. I want to make sure that my people, my family is well taken care of. They never have to worry about they never have to worry about anything in their life. I want to make sure that I help those that are coming after me. My I help the young guys coming to college, trying to come out to the real world. I want to make sure that I help them in whatever ways I can. Like the thing about it is you can teach you can you can feed a man a fish, but you only feed him for a day. You teach him how to fish, you feed him for life. So I'm trying to make sure that I help the younger ones following after me, and I give them the advice, I give them the tools instead of help. Like it's instead of them to ask me for financial support, I will be able to help them out. But
Teach them.
the advice which I teach you is going to be a lot more beneficial than any amount of money I can give you. My mentors tell me, they say, we can't give you money, but we can help you, give you the ideas that are going to help you make your own money.
Mm.
And being the type of person I am, like I wouldn't want somebody feeding, like giving me out something for free. I want to make sure that I work for it and I earned it, because when you work for it and you earn it, it's ten times more valuable. You actually understand the value of it. You actually understand the grit that it took to get that, you know. And I want my legacy to be something that will be never forgotten. Up there with the there, the Bill Gates, with the Warren Buffetts, with the Jeff Bezos. I want to make sure uh, that they say, Patrick, he came to America, small time kid, and grew up into somebody that nobody ever forget.
Amen, bro. Amen.
Amen.
That's such good, bro. This is my last segment. It's called Speak Life, bro. Bro,
Amen.
we've been at it since the start.
So
We've been at it since the start, man. Since like
the start.
December 2017. It has been so amazing just to see your progression and your growth. Seeing like what, just putting out the always and just making sure that you're striving for not just success materially, but striving for greatness in the way that we are able to. God is working in your life, man. You are going to
Amen.
continue to teach and maneuver and help empower generations to come, bro. I'm super
Amen.
grateful that I'm humbled. I'm very humbled that you consider me an inspiration because all the moves that you're making, man, you inspire me every day. That's what we're supposed to do. Iron sharpens iron.
I
And
sharpen
I'm
iron.
grateful, man, just that you are expanding your repertoire and continuing to grow. Most people, whenever they say like they see another black man or anything like that, their egos get inflated. Crabs in the bucket mentality. But I'm just telling you, man, like no, that does not exist. It's nothing but big, big love, and I'm just super proud. And I'm so glad that we're on this journey together, and that we're going to continue to grow to become better men, just to live out the life that God wants us to be able to build generational wealth, to be able to collaborate, and understand that we're here for the long term, and we're making sure that our kids are going to eat after from all the actions that we're doing. But the
Exactly.
people that sacrifice for us, that their sacrifice is going to continue. Their investment into coming over here, their investment into putting these kids in these schools, their investment to making sure that they have everything that they needed and wanted, and knowing that they found a way to be able to do this, and it's going to continue to come up tenfold. And after us, it's going
Amen.
to be tenfold, tenfold, tenfold. I
Amen.
believe it, bro. I believe it. I believe in you. I believe in your vision, and you're going to change the world, bro.
Amen. Amen.
I love you, man.
I love you too, bro. I appreciate you for everything, for real, bro. Let's get on it, bro. There's a lot more to come.
I'm more than
We're not done yet. We're not stopping. We're never stopping.
But
Always
we just
progressing.
started. We just getting started, as Elaine
We're
said.
just getting started. We're just getting started. You already know. I
Man,
appreciate you for having me, bro.
of course, of course. Everyone, that is episode 222. Hope you guys were able to get some valuable insight of financial literacy, of what it means to support your friends, how to continue to understand the journey, how to continue to put tangible and actual actionable steps to making sure you're growing, not just your financial success, but also just your mental, your spiritual, your emotional, and what it has. Because this is very important. Embracing diversity, embracing culture, and embracing our background, and continue to move. Thank you guys so much for all this episode. Thank you, Patrick, for coming. This is going to be
For
such
sure, for sure.
All right. We out.